video also. Okay, students, good evening. And today we are going to learn more about electromagnetic radiation. And in that, we have come to the fourth unit of our syllabus, which has the name Electromagnetic Fields and Radiating Systems. So I've put the number as 1 here, which is symbolic for part 1. So we have, I think we'll have some 3 or 4 parts in this. So we'll learn them slowly because we have ample time. So this is the syllabus for your 4th unit. You can see here electromagnetic fields and radiating systems and electromagnetic electromagnetic radiation. In that we have inhomogeneous wave equation for potentials, retarded potentials, multiple expansion of electromagnetic radiation for harmonically oscillating source, long wavelength approximation, oscillating electric dipole radiation, oscillating magnetic dipole radiation, then radiation from center fed linear antenna, then radiation from accelerated charges. In that we have the famous Lennard-Wickard potentials. So first topic in your unit is this electromagnetic radiation. So you know this very well because since the beginning of this paper, we have been reading more about electromagnetic waves and electromagnetic radiation. But yet, I would just like to revise that your previous knowledge, your school knowledge or your college knowledge. You just see this slide. So you can read it here, what is meant by electromagnetic radiation. So oscillating electric and magnetic fields propagate through space. So why we are saying space in particular? Because radiation has a special property. It doesn't need any medium to travel. It can just travel through vacuum. So the example is traveling of electromagnetic radiation through space. Like from stars, sun, electromagnetic waves are traveling directly to Earth without the help of any medium. So that's the best example. And then we have virtually all energy exchange between the Earth and the rest of the universe, which is with the help of electromagnetic radiation. And then most of what we perceive as temperature is also due to our radiative environment. Maybe described as waves or particles. So it has both wave particle duality, we know that. And high energy photons have shorter wavelengths and low energy photons have longer wavelengths. So let's see what is that. The same spectrum. The figure is a bit different from what you have seen in the earlier classes, but it's the same. You see the spectrums where it is, see this, the lowest is 400 nanometers. Here you have 750 nanometers. In microns, it will be like 0.4 to 0.75 microns. And you see above this we have infrared, and then above this we have microwave, and above this we have radio wave. See the wavelength of this. This is like from 750 to 1 millimeters, and from 1 millimeters to 1 meter, and then from 1 meter it will be to kilometers. Now, so this is the first title which you encounter in your syllabus, inhomogeneous wave equation for potentials. So in this, now we have several terms here. I'll start explaining one by one. Inhomogeneous. So we have seen the wave equations already. That is, we have set of wave equations which will describe the propagation of electromagnetic waves generated by any source or charge or currents. In that, if the source is a non-zero source, I mean, when you give the wave equation, you have the terms of the waves on the left side and you have the source on the right side generally. So I'll show you what is that. So that source, if it is non-zero, then you call such type of equation as inhomogeneous wave equation. And if you equate the source term to zero, I mean you have terms on the left hand side and there's nothing on the RHS side, it is zero, or J is zero, then in that case you call that electromagnetic wave equation as homogeneous. So these are, they make the partial differential equations. They are coming from that. And then if the source terms are zero, the equations reduce to homogeneous electromagnetic wave equations. And these equations follow from the Maxwell's equations. So we know that Maxwell's equations are very important. This is why I was stressing from unit 1 that we need to learn more Maxwell's equations, because they are the basis for our electromagnetic wave equations in whatever source you are taking, whatever medium you are taking, whatever type, characteristic. So Maxwell's equations are compulsory and important. So here also we will use Maxwell's equations to derive inhomogeneous wave equation and also homogeneous wave equation. See, look at this. What is happening? This is a general wave equation in one-dimensional form. You can see it looks like this. This is quite different to what you have learned, but you have all the terminology here. What is there, like propagation of the speed, then you have the damping constant, then the external restoration factor, and then you have arbitrary external forcing function. So in this, if f is 0, in the sense f x comma t is taken as the source, so from which this electromagnetic wave is arising. So if the source is taken as 0, then this equation is called as homogeneous, or else it is inhomogeneous or non-homogeneous. Right. So the next term, what we should learn is the retarded time. Retarded time or retarded potentials. So the topic is retarded potentials actually, but to learn retarded potentials, we should know what is retarded time. So the best expression which tells about the retarded time is this. Please look at this carefully. T R is almost equal to T minus R prime. This is vectors R prime by C. So this is time, you can see T R is the retarded time. So what is retarded time? It is equal to the original time minus this is some length, some distance by velocity. So distance by velocity or distance by speed is equal to what? It is time again. So time minus some time, so there is change in time, will give you the retarded time. So look at this figure. You see this point is the position of the charge or the source. Then what's happening? You see here, this was some time ago. The time is R minus R prime by C. And now what is the current position? This is the current position. Or say these points may be the points of observing also. So while I'm observing, initially I might be here, and then after some time I might move here, and the point of observation has changed and also the time has changed. In this case, what's happening? The position vector R has changed to R effective. It's not the normal R, but it is the R effective, which is R prime, I say. So the difference between these two is the change in the distance. r minus r prime by the velocity of electromagnetic wave. So this is the smallest time which is a change while observing from one point to the other point. So I'll just tell you one best example for this. You look at a star. Now what you are seeing is not what is appearing in the current time. It is something which has occurred in the past. It's not the present one. So in your point of observation, there has been a time lag. So when the thing or the shining of the star occurred few minutes ago, if it is sun, it's like 8.5 minutes, right? So the electromagnetic wave began, or the source, from the source it started 8.5 minutes ago, and then that was visible to you after 8.5 minutes. So there is a time lag. That's not the original time what you're observing. So this time lag, because of the traveling of the electromagnetic waves or the position change of the observer, we call it as the retarded time. So the one which you are seeing, I mean the current position what you are observing is not the actual one in that present time. So there is a change, there is a time lag. So this point you have to understand. So there is some change in the time. It's the retarded time, it's not the original time. So that change we will use and will apply in the potentials. You know the Lorentz and Coulomb gauge. We had derived the potentials. We have derived the electric potential and the magnetic potentials. So we'll apply this retarded time into that potentials, and then we'll derive potential equations, which we call them as retarded potentials. So look at this. So there was some time t1, which is like the time is between t1 and t2. So this was the original time t. So when t is less than t1, there was nothing. But at time t, so this electromagnetic wave has started. So it's going in all the directions. It's trying to propagate. And when t is greater than t2, what's happening? See, there is a difference here. There is a difference here. But because of the lag, we will be able to see this position than this position. So this will be visible later. So there is always a time lag when there is a change in the position or when there is displacement. This is just an example to show you. Okay, now we'll see what are those potentials. Please look at this. These are our famous equations which we had derived in first unit. What is that? It is like the delta square A. So A is our potential, V is also our potential. So with respect to that, we have two equations in the Lorentz gauge. So these are the potentials by applying the Lorentz gauge. So you consider these equations, and if there is no time dependence, I mean you don't consider any time thing for the potentials. If there is no dependence, what happens? The time factor vanishes, and then you are left with del square V is equal to this much and del square A is equal to this much. And then if you solve it, if you solve this equation, this expression and this expression, you are left with V of R is equal to something like this. So why R minus R prime? Because there is a change in the position, there is displacement. So hence, it's not the ordinary position vector R, but it is the changed position vector R minus R prime. So we have V of R and we have A of R. So the retarded potentials correspond to electromagnetic fields of a time varying current or charge distribution. The retardation between cause and effect is thereby essential. What is cause? So cause is like during the beginning, the effect is the resultant. So what you see, I mean, this is the initial one, cause is the initial one, and effect is the final one or the after some time. So it is essential. So signal takes a finite time corresponding to the velocity of light to propagate from the source point of the field to the point where an effect is produced or measured. So this is how we apply retarded potentials. See here, V of RT with respect to time. If I'm going to find it out, the solution can be written like this in terms of the retarded time TR, not the normal time. And A of RT is equal to this. So these two expressions are the retarded potentials. These two. So you have to derive these two. So I didn't give you derivation here. I'll give you notes later so that you can read it. But these are the two equations which will represent retarded potentials. This is very important. Please make a note. And then we have another thing called as radiation from harmonically oscillating sources. What is oscillating source? You know oscillations, right? So which it's like a to and fro motion, but periodically, regularly. So if a source is oscillating harmonically, then it emits radiation. But the radiation is not very intense. It's not very great. It's very less. I mean, the wavelength of that radiation is very less. So this involves localized oscillating source. And we can always build up non-localized source as a sum of localized sources. So the analysis has general applicability. So what is that? You have you just consider a sphere of radius d, and then you have an observation distance then r. Then for the external source, then r is greater than d. You consider this. So there is one consideration here. Then we'll try to solve, or we'll try to see what is the radiation coming from this harmonically oscillating sources. Please see this. The oscillating sources can be broken into frequency compounds. They are like j of x comma t equal to j of x e to the power minus I omega t. This one, if I can put it into the general solution for the potentials, then A, in place of R, we have taken X here. So A x t is equal to the same thing, mu by 4 pi R minus R prime. So X minus X prime, R minus R prime. So we have this expression. And then we have this potential as A x comma t is equal to mu naught by 4 pi e to the power minus I omega t. And this expression is the general expression for any harmonically varying source. So what is varying source? What is meant by varying? Changing. So with respect to time, it is changing in harmonic motion. You know what is harmonic motion, right? So you know some general conditions for something being harmonic. So if this is satisfying, I mean, for it, any time varying field is satisfying those harmonic conditions, then you call it as a harmonically varying source, and then this result is general for such kind of harmonically varying sources.